All right, I just sent or forwarded some emails. Some of them from Natalie, some of them from me, some of them from witnesses. He's got the just from the email from Natalie that I forwarded to him. He can go through that and see every single person that I sent that to. He can see that I tried to send that to the news station. He can see that I was in contact with Danica Garner. Did I get a hold of Danica Garner? No, she got a hold of me. Did I get a hold of Rochelle Shelley Campbell? No, she got a hold of me. After Natalie's death, all of these people contacted me, not the other way around. I got thousands of screenshots I can send this guy. Now, I want you to understand that it's difficult for me to remember names. Right now, I'm reciting in my head that his name is Rob. Rob Gavaganza. The name that's going into my head is Mike. Mike Gavaganza. I don't know who either of these guys are. I don't know if there even is a Mike by that name. I'm gonna start playing what it is that he said and typed.
It's not always easy or even possible at all. Once access is given, it cannot always be taken back, even with the best.
All right, there it's finally playing. Sorry, it keeps freezing up on me. So does my fucking phone. Why does it keep starting over?
Possible at all. Once access given, it cannot always be taken back, even with the best of efforts. The unfortunate reality that those who we fear the most can hide in plain sight was a truth Natalie highlighted with her update posts. On December 13th, Natalie addressed the fact that a man named Sean Schwartz.
All right, we're going to stop there. He starts at the 13th. This story started a whole year earlier, over a year earlier. It started with me going to see my friend who was going to kill herself if I didn't go. Now, if you're going to start in December, the least you could do is go back to the 9th. On the 9th of December, I got a hold of Natalie's mother to explain what was going on and ask her to put a stop to it. She didn't reply. I tried to do the right thing at every step of the way. How did Natalie's mother treat me? Well, she got on and started calling me a stalker. I never stalked Natalie. In Virginia, our messages between Natalie and I, and Alicia and I, and Maddie Boa and I show that we were all friends. Train. Now, let's ask what happened the day before. I just sent Mike, or not Mike Gavagan, Rob, the email from Natalie that I used to expose Natalie's dad. I exposed him on the 12th. She got a hold of me on the 13th. Now, I had asked her repeatedly to call off the dogs. I sent Mike a few of the messages between me and Natalie after the whole Virginia thing. You can see I was asking for specifically what I've been telling y'all I was asking for. An end to the fucking violence. I let her know what was going on, and she wanted to play victim. I let her know that I was being threatened and assaulted over her lies, and she didn't give a fuck. And Rob is going to get to see that. He's also going to get to see some of the other witnesses, some of the other people that I know, even a few of them that hate me now. Well, fuck you. You going to hate me because you are a fucking bitch? That's on you, buddy. Train's almost got. Apparently, it doesn't want to play, and this thing blipped out on me again already.
Had been stalking her. She detailed how she'd met him, and he seemingly spiraled into being obsessive.
He doesn't talk about it at all, how we met. Spiraling into obsessive. With all due respect, if you're being assaulted and you're trying to get help, that's not obsessive, it's trying to get help. Stop driving by, trains, I'm sick of screaming. Holy hell. Natalie was not stalked. I was stalked. She wasn't prevented from seeing her friends and family. Do you know who was? Me. Over her slander. And then she wanted to accuse me of slander. Well, Rob is going to see that email forwarded from Natalie about her dad from 2016 and realize that's not slander. That's actually from Natalie. It's not a doctored screenshot. It's an actual forward from Natalie. On the 12th, I exposed her dad. And on the 13th, she slandered the shit out of my name. On the 16th, or on the 15th, she promised, finally, after a year of fucking hell, she said she would come visit me. Hey, Ashley, I sent you a bunch of stuff. I sent you everything that I sent Rob. You have access to all of that. It's just a little bit. I mean, there's a fucking shit ton to go through, and I had to go through a lot of stuff that's just fluff before I got to the things that I was able to send you. You're right, I did do more to help than many others, including the cops. And that includes when she disappeared. I did more than her family when she disappeared. While they were busy trying to find a scapegoat. See, here's something that really bugs me. They were so busy trying to find a scapegoat and someone to be mean to, I do believe that there is a good chance that they already knew she was fucking dead. Ever since Natalie lied in Virginia, I had to worry about if anything fucking happens to her, I'm going to get the blame. That was my worst fear in 2016 and 2017. I just wait till I get all this stuff from the fucking cops to send you guys. Holy shit. Caitlin, he didn't bring the truth to light at the end. But the other thing is, it's not his story. He was reading a script. And some of what he said at the end was, well, better. It still lacked a lot of the truth. It still lacked a lot of stuff that I put out there for everyone to see. He could take a look at it. The lady who wrote the script could take a look at it. Now you're going to get to hear that through her tone of voice and through the words that she chose. You know what, like a boss, I grew up with fucking two cokeheads for parents, okay? I grew up getting raped in the system. I grew up in the same shit that Natalie did. I wouldn't call it transparent. call it human. Your kids are human and you know it. The thing is that with me speaking out about Boulder Police Department and all of the things that they had done for years and years, all of the things that they did to me, I reported on them before they happened to me. How is that possible? Because I reported on it when it happened to others, when it happened to Onyx, when it happened to Monkey, when it happened to Mobley. Onyx's real name is Tommy Galla. Tommy Gallia. Sorry about that. I got something in my throat. Mobley's real name is Stephen McMillian. Monkey's real name is Michael Pennington. Rob really didn't have the info. He was reading from a script. Now, he said that he would get back to me and try to make a part 2 that shows this. I fought through a panic attack for a couple of days and argued with some trolls a bit. You are all absolutely right. That's the thing, is that I'm not pissed off at Rob. I'm pissed off at the fact that he didn't have all the information. I'm pissed off at the fact that I don't have the technical abilities to send out all of this information. Now, I can send it in emails. I got 2 different email addresses, matter of fact. I got the one that I just sent him stuff from, and then I have another one that I had to start so that I could make a YouTube. You're right, he could have asked me. But also, you got to understand that Natalie Bollinger's case is a really big thing. The thing that I need to look at is the system that I... Sorry, unstable connection again. The system that I grew up in, because my parents wouldn't stay off the drugs. You know, some of the kids, I don't think his middle name is Wayne. It might be. He lives in Boulder, Colorado. He's got a tattoo of a badge over his heart. If so, yeah, that's the same Michael Pennington. He's homeless in Boulder, but he's been all over the place. That badge has Keith Steinman's badge number on it. Keith Steinman is about the rottenest cop you're going to meet. Him, Officer French, Officer Lolatai. South Carolina, huh? I have video evidence. One guy that he was my prime suspect for who stole my computer up there in Washington State. Turned out later, I saw him in a justice group. Turns out he was a child molester, and he was shot not far from my dad's house. Shot to death. I should really just take the time to pick one of these and just slam fire a whole bunch of the video evidence. I mean, that, just like I did with there's a video I made called For Peaches the Liar. That's not important, that video. That's just me talking. It's the 116 links to videos below it. They are all links to conversations with witnesses. Things that if they would have been brought forward would have changed the outcome entirely. But then you got to look at these people and how afraid they are. I suppose I should read these. Ashley typed, as a parent, I just can't grasp the idea of brushing your kids under the rug. My 2 stooges are my world. Amy Price wrote, I hope you're well now and everyone is leaving you alone. They're not. I still have court stuff over this. All of the court stuff that I've had to deal with. Every single thing that I have had to deal with in the last 2 years, including the court date that I have coming up. are all about the Natalie Bollinger situation. Every single one of them. And when I say the Natalie Bollinger situation, I'm not talking about just Natalie. I'm talking about the police. I'm talking about the judges. I'm talking about the lawyers. Now, mind you, I'm about to go into a court date on the 18th of this month, or next month, I guess. It's not there yet. And who is it that's going to be in court? It's going to be Alyssa Rainwater. Alyssa Rainwater is the 911 operator who was on duty the night that Natalie disappeared. Well, the day that they found her body, actually. Her mom was corresponding with me for quite a while. Sadly, no, he's still going through some insane shit because someone wanted to try wolf. Like a boss type, totally. There's nothing mine could do to make me turn from her. Like a boss. Well, YKWIM. I don't know what that means. You know what I mean. Did I get that right? Why, though? The murderer is in prison, right? Well, that's the thing, is that most of the people who were sticking up for me until they found Joseph Lopez, as soon as they found Joseph Lopez, they just dropped it all off and assumed that it was all over. No, by that time, I had already been assaulted by Waylon Lolatai. Sorry, I disconnected again. By the time they found Joseph Michael Lopez, I had already been pegged as a rapist, a murderer, a stalker, a child molester. I mean, holy fuck. Was I any of those? No. Was I a harasser? Fucking goddamn right I am. Hell yes, I have harassed a lot of people. Now, I didn't want to harass any of these people. I wanted it to be dealt with as adults. Natalie should have found out what the fuck was going on. Her mom should have found out what the fuck is going on. Then again, Natalie was fucked up on drugs. Her mom had a set bias. Y'all do know that Natalie was 18 years old before we ever hung out together. You are aware of this, right? Meeting someone is not the same as hanging out with them. Knowing who someone is because they're a familiar face isn't the same as knowing their name. Well, Monkey's been homeless a long time, and Keith Steinman is one of the hobo haters. He was hired specifically because he will break the law to harm homeless people. This is the same officer that ran up and shoved the guy off of his bike. This is the same officer who came up to us when our friends died, when they froze to death because of immoral laws. He'd come up to us and make fun of the frozen bumsicles. And then if we say anything at all, we get arrested for what? Use of fighting words. Keith Steinman broke his body camera more than anyone else in Boulder County history. No officer has had more body cameras break on them than Keith Steinman. Keith Steinman used to run around and fucking tell people, hey, I know you got drugs. Monkey told me you do. Monkey didn't say shit. The only reason that Keith Steinman said that is because he knew there was a chance that he could get Monkey murdered for such a thing. Every time that Keith Steinman ran around down there saying those things, he was literally attempting to get Monkey killed. But the cops are the good guys, right? No, they're not. One guy today, he posted something up that said, you can support law enforcement and still condemn bad police officers. No, you can't. No, you absolutely fucking can't. If these people are following and enforcing immoral laws that are killing people, then no, there is no such thing as a good cop. I absolutely will not support law enforcement. Not until the law applies equally to all of us. Until the law applies equally to black people, white people, men, women, Christians, Muslims, atheists. We are all human beings. It's not for you to pick and choose. Oh, that guy's not white enough for the rights of the Constitution. That guy's not rich enough for the rights of the Constitution. That guy's not good looking enough for the rights of the Constitution. That guy is too disabled for the rights of the Constitution. The only people who have rights to the Constitution are the people in power. And even then, the Constitution doesn't apply to them because they can break the law and violate the Constitution, and there are no consequences. People don't like that I yell. Shit, I was nice about it to start. You look at the very first messages that I sent Natalie, I explained what was going on, just like I did with her mother in December of the whole next year. I explained to her, hey, I'm the autistic homeless dude who was honking like an idiot outside your fucking house. I've been abused as if I'm a child molester or a rapist, and I didn't do any of those things to your daughters. Please help me. Laws don't apply to rich and powerful people. They don't apply to the cops. They don't apply to judges. They don't apply to lawyers. The laws don't even apply to us. They don't. The police can outright lie. If you're homeless, they probably will, especially if you're a homeless male. If you're a homeless female, some of these cops just try to fuck you. They'll let you get away with whatever you want as long as you give them what they want. Yes, cops are human. Matter of fact, statistically, police officers out of every single one of the jobs that you could possibly have in the United States, the number one most likely to beat their wives is who? The police. 40% of police officers have abused their spouse. That's a pretty big fucking number. A lot of the issue here is that you absolutely refuse to believe that a man could be victimized. That people could do these things to a man. Oh no, men are much bigger than women. Men are stronger than women. Really? Dude, I'm 5'9". I weigh $160 at most. If I'm lucky, I might be able to bench press 125. My shoulder's still fucked up. I can freely move it. Oh God, that hurts. But it still hurts. Swing a hammer, it hurts. You know how I freed it up so I could use it? I picked up blacksmithing. I made Joanna Taylor Smith a hammer for her to protect herself with. Men have a lot less legal protection, you're right. If a woman wants to destroy a man's life, all she has to do is say, he stalked me, he raped me, he molested my kids. They don't have to have any evidence of it. All they have to do is say it. And if they don't bring it to a court of law, if they just run around slandering to your friends, that's even worse because you are being harmed and you haven't had a day in court. I fought fucking hard for the days in court that I got. Now, I tried to do it the legal way. You know when I broke the law? It took a lot of abuse. It took a lot of abuse before I broke the law. I did it out of desperation because I was being abused over my disabilities, and I couldn't defend myself because of my disabilities. And I do mean that. But then there's also the fact that my disabilities were preyed on by the police, by law enforcement, in these places that I had spoken to law enforcement before Natalie died. Boulder, Colorado, Officer Michael West. That's just a start. How about former officer who's actually on this YouTube conversation with him too? His name is Abel Ramos. He's not a cop anymore. He got cancer. I made a video about how he had died. He didn't die. He's still alive. That was misinformation that I had spread because somebody else gave me wrong information. But you know what? As soon as I found out that he was still alive, I said something. It didn't take me 6 months. It didn't take me 2 years. Yeah, I can. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play it so that we can do that. I'm sorry that it took 28 minutes for me to get around to that part.
And constantly intrusive in her life. At first, he bombarded her with messages and missed calls, and though this was concerning, it was barely a dent compared to his.
I didn't bombard her with shit. It was her busted ass phone that bombarded her with that shit. Her busted ass phone that her sister gave me for my birthday. Are you going to give somebody a birthday present if they're stalking you? I want you to think about that. The whole time that I was in Virginia, we were friends. That's when she claimed that I stalked her. You go look at all the messages between us before I got that phone. Not a sucked up message between me and Alicia. There wasn't a single message between me and Natalie or me and Alicia that was even close to negative until I got that new phone. Natalie's old busted phone. And then I didn't stalk her. I wasn't able to go to the court date. There was no possible way I could have made it to that court date. I didn't even know it existed. I didn't know that there was a such against all of the people who were threatening my life and assaulting me. Natalie Bollinger, she asked me for an address that she could send a fucking protection order to. At that point in time, I don't have access to here. I'm living down there in Colorado. I'm living at Ken and Leah's, and they will kick me out if the cops show up. I'm living in a fucking garage so that I don't have to listen to Leah. It's a giant pain in the ass. Now then I have to go back to these police officers. These police officers who didn't do their jobs before Natalie was killed. And I got to go to these guys for help? No, they knew they fucked up. And they have done everything in their power to make sure that nobody sees that. And it's not that I'm not posting up the evidence. It's that there's a shit ton of it. And none of you are going to go back through and look through it all. I mean, hell, there's 18 videos on here alone. 250 of them are conversations with witnesses. At least 30 of them, since before I got back to Chapel, are police interactions. There's videos of addicts passed out at bus stops with a rig still hanging out of their arm. That's what Natalie was looking forward to. Now, one thing you guys might not know that I do is that when I lived in Washington State in the 90s, the heroin epidemic was already there. It was already there. Kurt Cobain was a heroin user. Did y'all know that? Kurt Cobain. People want me to go do a bunch of stuff that I don't have the money for. Sean, you should do this. Sean, you should do that. What I need is a lawyer. They took my money away and my housing because Natalie died. If it hadn't been for Natalie's death, I would own this house right here on this property that I'm sitting on. Very good, like a boss. Now, when did heroin hit Boulder? That was 2003. It came in with the Juggalos. They brought in mass quantities of heroin, and now it's everywhere. It's everywhere. You're right. But you know, it's more than everywhere. Because, see, there's lots of parts of the country where heroin isn't as big. But methamphetamines are big nationwide. Methamphetamines, whether you're in Alaska or Florida or anywhere in between, you're going to run into meth. Thing is, Natalie Bollinger needed help. Her family didn't help her. They didn't. They treated her like shit.
Later, harassment. He went as far as relocating to be close to her and was often dangerously close to her home, making all
right, there it said that I relocated to be close to her. First of all, I didn't. When I went to Virginia, that was her request. When I left Virginia, I was completely done with them. That should have been the end of it.
attempts to be noticed, or at least let her know he was there and watching.
There and watching. See, and his tone of voice very much sets that tone. Now, when the lady who wrote the script gets on, she very much does the same thing. Now, for starters, I never stalked Natalie. I've already proven that. The other thing is, like, I'm watching her. I'm not watching her. I'm not. I'm in my fucking car while I'm in Virginia. Most of the time, that's where I'm at. I spent a grand total of maybe 6 hours with Alicia the whole time I was there, or 6 hours with Natalie the whole time I was there. And all of those occasions, she was with Natalie or with Alicia, all of them. Alicia dominated everything, every conversation. Now, a lot of the stuff that is omitted in here that's a very important part of the story is, where did these things happen? Where did they happen? Because the last time that I saw Natalie Bollinger alive was on my birthday in Virginia in 2016. You know how I remember that Frida Nose's gun disappeared on October 18th of 2016? Well, because that was my birthday. That was the last time. Yes, Caitlin Kiefer, I reached out to Rob. I sent him a bunch of stuff to his email already. There's a lot more to go. It's going to take him 2 minutes to read through that and realize, yeah, this dude is letting her know he's being assaulted, letting this young woman know how he's being treated. Obviously, yeah, he's not stalking her. He's trying to get the violence against him to stop. He said he was gonna, but we'll see. We'll see if he makes a part 2.
post read as follows.
Theo, I have a public announcement. There's a man, Sean Schwartz. I met this man when I was young. I ran into him about 2 years ago. Long story short, I became friends with him. I helped him out with rides and stuff. I moved to Virginia. He drove across country to see me. Slept behind my work.
Now, this part right here, we're going to get into the Natalie lying bullshit. First of all, I did travel across the country to see her, but it was at her request, and I've proven that time and again. She omitted that part. She omitted evidence to try to justify what she had done. Second of all, Natalie didn't work there, Alicia did. Natalie did not work at the cricket store. Alicia did. And again, whose idea was it for me to stay behind the cricket store? Alicia's. That was Alicia's idea because they wanted me to be closer, not the other way around. Oh, it froze up again. Yes, I've been having problems with my phone and my computer since Rob made that video.
When I told him I didn't want to see him anymore, he sent me hundreds of texts and calls.
All right, there again. More lies. The thing is, she didn't tell me that she didn't want to see me again. What she told me was that she would see me on Monday. The problem is, I'd been without sleep, severely dehydrated, and having a severe fucking panic attack for 5 days straight. She didn't ask me to leave Virginia. I offered to leave Virginia if her and her family were afraid. I offered to never talk to her ever again. I felt that was a very adult way to deal with it. She told me she loved me, her family was afraid of me, and not to contact her again. And I was never going to contact her again. I am not going to deal with an addict who's going to pull fucked up shit like that. At all. So I left the state, and that should have been the end of it. If I hadn't been stalked, threatened, harassed, and assaulted over her slander when I left, that would have been the end of it right there. Right there. But she didn't care, did she? She didn't care. I let her know. And Rob's going to see that too. I let Natalie know about people like Tim Beeson threatening my life. I let her know about people assaulting me. She says it's not my fault. No. No, of course it's not your fault. It's your choice. Big difference. It's your choice to allow these people continue harming me for crimes I didn't commit. Being made a target for crimes that you didn't commit over a junkie. And I know you guys don't like that word, especially most of you on here who are recovering addicts. We're going to continue this, though. Play a little bit more of it. We're only 3 minutes, 54 seconds in.
He parked his car in front of my house, blocking Military Highway for hours, laying on his horn. He was arrested. Since then, I've asked him to leave me alone, and he won't.
All right, now, more slander. Lovely. First of all, I didn't park my car in the middle of the road. I was stuck there with a broken vehicle, dehydrated, on no sleep. Second of all, it wasn't for hours. It was maybe 15, 20 minutes total. Third, I did lay on my fucking horn. You goddamn right I did. Somebody drove past me honking their horn, scared the living shit out of me. You goddamn right I laid on my horn. Make sure I don't get fucking smacked. Make sure that a family of 6 in a minivan has some forewarning before careening into the side of me while I'm stuck in the fucking road. Does that matter? No. Then she says I was arrested. I was not arrested. Why was I not arrested? Because I didn't break the fucking law. I did not break the law. If I had broken the law, I would have been arrested. The police didn't take me to the police station. They didn't take me to booking. They took me to the hospital where I was treated for what? Dehydration. Dehydration. And diabetes mellitus, which I don't have. Holy shit. Let's play some more of this. See, the thing is that these people could have done their research. They could have asked, hey, could I have access to that? They didn't bother asking me. They didn't bother asking for evidence. They just posted slander, a whole bunch of it. I mean, hell, they could have gone through on this channel the stuff between me and Natalie and me and Alicia and fucking blown that whole goddamn thing apart.
He sent emails for over a year, close to every day, harassing me, making...
I didn't send emails for close to a year, almost every day, harassing her. I sent her emails when I was assaulted, when people were threatening my life, hold of her, to ask her to put a stop to it. To put a stop to it. And Ashley, you have access to that stuff too now. Sorry, it froze up for a second. Ashley, I sent you everything that I sent Rob. There's some other emails in there that it's a whole bunch of information that I sent to people like Mandy Hughes and Miss Peaches. That's this little thing here at the bottom corner that's got this red thing on it. It says not connected. It's the cloud thing. I don't even know how to get into that. That only exists because somebody helped me set that up. I don't even know the fucking code to get into the thing. And of course, it was the free one, so it won't hold as much evidence. But there's still a lot in there. There's a lot of the evidence that was lost or stolen that if I could unlock the goddamn thing, I could have access to it. These people did everything that they could. Everything that they could to goat me into those reactions. They knew exactly what they were doing. The police knew exactly what they were doing. The Bollingers knew exactly what they were doing. And they all knew what they were doing is wrong. I know how to use logic. I'm a logical thinker. I'm lucky because I can think with logic and emotion. So those of you who don't have any logic whatsoever, but you got a lot of emotion, I can understand you. Those of you who have very little emotions but are highly intelligent, I can understand you. But most people are one or the other, so they're not going to understand me. Let's see if it'll play some more.
Numerous accounts until I block him again, threatening my family, telling me he'll kill himself in front of me.
If she was alive today, I would kill myself in front of her. I absolutely would. The things that she did were terrible. And you want to excuse her for it because of her age, which is a legal adult. She was an adult. Because of her gender, that's sexism right there. Because of her slander, and because poor her, she's pretty. Oh, she's so pretty, poor her. Holy shit, her looks are the reason that you feel bad for her? Now, they were willing and able on this thing here to look at my Facebook. They know that it exists. They picked one part and put it there after his commentary, and that set the wrong tone, the wrong idea. People were like, how'd you know she was dead? Like, holy shit, the video clip that he posted where I said that was over a year after she was killed. I was at Shannon Alvarado's in fucking California. When I made that video, I didn't make it before Natalie fucking died. I didn't make it when Natalie disappeared. I made it a whole year afterward.
And sending my friends and family harassing messages as well. I'm sharing this because he's...
All right, her friends and family harassing messages. I informed them of what was going on and asked them to put a stop to it. Now, the messages between me and Maddie Boa, me and Alicia Bollinger, me and Natalie Bollinger, me and many of these people, our text messages are right here on this YouTube. And that part right there, Sean needs a positive support system. That's exactly the point. That's the reason that I had that fucking meltdown. I was in a place that was unfamiliar to me. I had no support network, and I made sure I set up a support network before I went. But that didn't make any difference, did it? They tried to twist the good things that I did at their request to try to make it look like I was some sort of a terrible fucking goddamn monster. Holy hell. And then making multiple accounts to harass her. First of all, these weren't her friends. These were our mutual friends. Second of all, how many accounts did I make? How many? I'll tell you, I made 2. And were they to harass Natalie? No. I made the first one, Guitaria's Case. I made that one so that I could get a hold of Brianna and apologize for not making it to her Jehovah's Witness meeting. And to get a hold of Natalie and ask her to put a stop to this shit. The second account that I made, the Michelle Brannick post, or the Michelle Brannick one, that's the one that the picture is up on her last fucking public post. That was the Michelle Brannick profile. You can actually see at the bottom of it in the screenshots where I typed exactly, specifically what I had that thing for. I made the Michelle Brannick profile. I did. Right after I broke that fucking phone in front of Jamie's son. If I'd have known he was there, I wouldn't have broken it. So I made the Michelle Brannick profile, and I tried to destroy my profile before killing myself. And what happened? Well, they wouldn't let me delete my profile because I didn't have a death certificate. The thing is, it doesn't matter how much evidence I show here on YouTube or on Facebook What matters is that I am not allowed to show it in court. They have done every fucking dirty trick that they could pull to prevent this evidence from going to court. Ken Wilson and Leah Plunkett live on South Zuni, right off the Hampton. Their address is what jurisdiction? Inglewood. They live in fucking Inglewood. Now, where is Brian Valenzuela from? Mind you, I did light Ken and Leah's vehicle on fire. Well, I lit the road next to it on fire, but close to fucking enough. I did it out of desperation, not to retaliate against Ken and Leah. I did that because I'm not going to light some random person's car on fire. Why would I go light someone random's vehicle? If I'm going to do something desperate like that, if I'm going to do something desperate like that, the first thing that was important is that the fingers were pointed at me. I didn't want some random stranger getting in trouble for what I did. And I didn't want to pick a vehicle that belonged to somebody who was barely fucking getting by and struggling like a motherfucker. Ken and Leah's was the right choice. And I only made that choice by accident. While I was looking for Macintosh Dairy so that I could literally blow my head off, I took the evidence with me. My plan was to go to Macintosh Dairy with the evidence and literally blow my head off. Y'all want to pretend that I'm an obsessive stalker? No. I'm an obsessive humanitarian. If you're going to be racist towards whites or sexist towards men, I'm not going to be any more kind to you than I would be if it was the other way around. I'm not. Racism is racism. And it's wrong no matter who it is that's doing it. Now, the Michelle Brannick profile. Why did I use it to get a hold of Natalie, Alicia, and Maddie? You notice Natalie, Alicia, and Maddie. This wasn't a focus on Natalie thing. This was a please put a stop to this. The cops aren't going to do anything because I'm fucking homeless. When I was living at Ken and Leah's, I can't have cops there. I'm basically fucking homeless. My vehicle is broke, so going back and forth to Chapel, Nebraska is a fucking pain in the ass. When my vehicle was running, I still needed someone to go with me because that is a long goddamn ride while you're stuck in your head having to deal with that trauma. I needed positivity. And the only 2 times that I got positivity after I left Virginia. Now, lots of people type pretty fucking words on Facebook. But Chelsea Worsing, I had fun with her twice. We really did. Autism awareness. Now then, there was 2 other people, Dee Dee and Rachel Klang, who came to see me right around my birthday. Those were the 2 positive experiences, the 2 actual in-person positive experiences that I had. Ken and Leah's, that wasn't a positive place. Are you kidding me? Leah doesn't do anything but treat her autistic son like shit, send him to his room, steal his shit, sit around and smoke weed all day and talk about the good old days when she was a cheerleader and a dancer. She wasn't a dancer, she was a stripper. Big difference. Is she less of a person for being a stripper? No. Now, what she spent her money on is questionable. Ken and Leah were selling drugs out of their house and going to shows and selling drugs at those the whole time I was at their place. Why did I endure that? Why did I take that risk of getting in trouble for being there, guilt by association and all, and so I can be closer to my loved ones. You might want to try talking to Bailey Beers or Osha Ibden. I rescued both of those people. I rescued Osha twice, 3 times. 3 times I rescued Osha. And yeah, Osha was fucking strung out on meth. I understand that. But I also know that her ex-boyfriend choked her to the point that her brain does not function right anymore. He tried to choke her to death. All of the states have different laws. It doesn't matter to me what their laws are, because the laws don't work. They only work one way. They don't apply to women, they only apply to men. In most cases. Now, you get into a situation like Boulder, Colorado. I think someone just called my name. I could be wrong. All right, folks, I gotta go. Amy, Clean Kingery, and her boyfriend Josh are here. I gotta go.